It's not that the Ravens lost to the Steelers today. It's the way that the Ravens lost to the Steelers today. The Ravens lose 17-10 to Pittsburgh today. And we're going to give the Steelers a lot of credit in this conversation because they deserve some credit for the way specifically some of their guys played. It's not a stretch at all to say that the Ravens absolutely should have won this game. If you look at every underlying number about the way this game played out, the Ravens absolutely should have won this game. And somehow they managed to let it slip away, literally and figuratively over the course of this entire game. So they dropped 7 passes.
It went through their hands, this game.
Yes.
It slipped through their fingers.
It slipped through their fingers multiple different times. They dropped 7 passes in this game. According to True Media, which has started charting drops in 2019, there have only been 5 games with at least 7 drops over the last 4 seasons. Okay. Yeah. So this is one of the worst games that we've seen over the last 4 seasons.
Is one of them a Jaguars game?
I actually don't think one of them was a Jaguars game. There was a couple. I wish I had written down the actual specifics. There was one with like 11 drops. Like I want to go back and watch that game and try to figure out what the hell happened. But 7 drops. And according to True Media, they lost about 6 points worth of EPA on those drops. So a touchdown on the drops. And it's not hard to figure out how you get there. Okay. On the first drive, it's Zay Flowers. He has a drop on 1st and 10. Mark Andrews can't make a catch on second and 10. They have to punt it away. Third drive, Bateman drops the ball in the end zone for a touchdown. They have to kick a field goal.
That was
this to me encapsulates the game because it's how the NFL works. Okay. You have a drive. Oh man, now I can't find it. The Zay Flowers drop in the second half where he just drops the ball. It's coming right at him on second down. Then on third down, TJ Watt gets a sack. Okay. So it's not just that the Ravens couldn't hang on to the football. It's that when you leave the door open in the NFL, the other team still has to walk through it. And that's exactly what the Steelers did today. The Ravens left the door open consistently for the entire game. And guess what? The Steelers have some really talented players. And if you're going to let them hang around for the entire game, Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt and today George Pickens are going to potentially make you pay for it. And those 3 guys, a little bit of Jaylen Warren sprinkled in there, was pretty much enough for the Steelers to kind of keep this thing close and win it in the end with all of the mistakes that the Ravens made.
The drops were brutal. The Bateman one, Andrews had one in the end zone, and that one was even more brutal because I believe Lamar was targeting Zay Flowers in the back line of the end zone, and Mark Andrews thought it was for him, so he backed up and then dropped it. I'm starting to think, I do think it was some Greg Roman letting it happen, but I'm starting to think Mark Andrews is part of the woes for some of the like routes going together, like crowding each other. I think it's a Mark Andrews issue. I'm starting to really think it is because he's kind of drifts sometimes. I'm like, what are you doing? Stay there. But I think the Nelson Aguilar drop. I don't even know.
That I screwed that up. It was the Nelson Aguilar one late in the third quarter. The slot fade that he should have caught.
And so he caught one right before that. It was like repeat. They like repeated.
It was a beautiful back shoulder throw from Lamar. And then he drops the slot fade on the next play. Watt has immediate pressure. Lamar is forced to step up on third down. He sacked, punt. And that happened throughout this game where they could not take advantage of the plays that were there to be made. And then that front for Pittsburgh against Ronnie Stanley for some of this game, who's back and who knows how healthy. But then at right tackle, you're already down Morgan Moses. Then Patrick McCary gets hurt. And now you have TJ Watt going against Daniel Falele. And that did not work out very well for the Ravens. Even with that matchup in mind, they absolutely still should have won this game.
I know. Exactly. But like Highsmith was, I even tweeted a play that Ryan Stanley kind of gave him the business as the play went on. But Highsmith dominated that matchup throughout the game. Like easily. He had a ton of pressures today.
He get 10. He get double digits. And then Watt was just as disruptive.
Yeah. And Watt was just going, hey, remember me? I could be defensive player of the year too. Honestly, the first, I gotta stop saying honestly. I'm not lying. The Ravens for the first quarter and a half, that first 15 a little bit plus, they were cooking. And so it just kind of and Lamar was making some throws, but that's again why you have to take advantages, especially in these division matchups where they know all your stuff, they know all your situation stuff, especially repeat matches. Even if Monken's there, they still repeat a lot of the same calls. I mean, a good chunk of it. I mean, not a ton, but some stuff in the run game at the very least. But also the Lamar pick with 4 minutes to go, a fade to OBJ. That's not your game.
No.
OBJ is a slant guy. And anyways, you're not a fade ball guy, and you're not a fade ball offense. That's I've you picked
just,
there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm dunking on you. But I don't know. That's not your game. So to me, that was kind of a real why. That was really disappointing moment, I thought, for this offense. But I still think this Ravens team is still fine. This defense is freaking awesome. They're right up there with the top of the top guys right now. This defense.
The Steelers in the first half had a 27% offensive success rate. They averaged 3.4 yards per play in the first half, and they won the game.
You're not getting me with, and no one's getting me with any narrative about this game about how this offense played at the end. They couldn't do anything for most of this game.
George Pickens can do some stuff. Like they were throwing back shoulder balls to George Pickens. And then he had a go ball touchdown against Marlon Humphrey.
Yeah.
He was their passing offense. And then Jaylen Warren had one drive. That was it. And then they had a block punt. That was it. And even
Steeler ball.
It was back shoulder throws to George Pickens.
Yeah.
The Steelers today, let me do my little Steelers rant here, okay?
Yeah.
You have a quarterback who feels uneasy in the pocket. He is struggling at any sort of flash of color, and it's not like you have the Eagles' offensive line, okay? Wouldn't it make sense to try in some way to put him in positions where there's some insulation, there's some structure? You're not allowing him to just operate in the pocket like Tom Brady in 2020. That's not what you're asking Kenny Pickett to be. They are 31st in the NFL in the rate they use play action. This isn't as a like more play action equals good conversation. This could be a potential solution to something that ails your quarterback, something that ails him. One of their biggest plays of the entire game comes with 2 minutes left in the second quarter. They run a play action play from the gun. They move the pocket for him so he doesn't have to worry about being a statue in the pocket. And he finds Pickens for a chunk gain on the left side.
They pre-made the drift in the pocket. That's what they did.
It's just the fact that this team uses their play action on 12.7% of their dropbacks when they have all these other issues. And then you see what it can look like when you just put him in a tiny bit more structure, because he throws a pretty ball. He's a talented guy. He was a first-round pick. If you protect him from some of his worst impulses with structure and design, you can get better returns out of him. Unfortunately, they choose not to do a lot of that stuff. Guess what? Today it didn't matter. They still won.
Yeah, block punt. They are not a spread and shred offense. Like, they're going to run the ball like that. So use play action off of that. Condense it a little bit. You're going to be a vertical shot offense. Look at your receivers right now. Look what Pickens can do. So I don't get that. It's never made sense. That offense always felt siloed, but maybe they can just summon their way into it, fall into it somehow. Maybe they could just see, well, how do we create our explosives? Okay, wow, there's a lot of Pickens in there. Okay. There's a play action. There's a play action there. Okay, there we go. Okay, there's another go ball on the sideline where Pickens is making a toe tap catch.
For as frustrating as their offense was at times, the performance from the Ravens was more frustrating. So, not one to write home about with Baltimore. But again, keep saying it. I do think better days ahead. It's going to be hard to do this again. Isn't 7 drops, the terrible Justice Hill fumble, just a lot of frustration from a Baltimore team that should have won today.